Hello and welcome to this new tutorial. In this tutorial, we shall talk about the concept of balance of power. आप सबका स्वागत है इस नई ट्यूटोरियल में और आज के इस ट्यूटोरियल में हम लोग समझेंगे the concept of balance of power in international relations. The concept of balance of power is a central theory in international relations, particularly within the realist traditions. It refers to the distribution of power among the states in such a way that no single state or coalition of states can dominate the others. The balance of power aims to prevent hegemony and maintain stability and peace in international system. So when we talk about the concept of balance of power in short in international relations, then it is a theory. It is one of the important central theory in international relations because it helps us to understand how the distribution of power among the state is carried out. Now, in the real sense in international relations, we have seen that a lot of countries are aspiring to be a global power. We have countries which are already a global power. We have some countries which are rising global power. So end of the day, every country want to assert their power in international relations. Often we have seen that it becomes difficult for one country to dominate the region because the moment you come in the contest with another country, there are problems of understanding. Sometimes there are problems of ceding that space for others, and often we see that countries enters into conflict because no powerful country want to give away that space to another country, right? So therefore sometimes it becomes difficult in international relations that you actually can distribute the power among the state. It's very difficult, and therefore no single state can control the ultimate power, right? Many times we have also have seen that there are coalition of state who comes together and tries to dominate others. We have example of North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that is NATO. Now NATO for a long been a very important organizations which are trying to balance the power blocks of other country. For instance, during the Cold War, we saw that NATO played a very extensive role in balancing the USSR and later on Russia. And even today, NATO as a very important military alliance plays beautifully in European theater as far as balancing the assertive Russia, right? And we have seen that recently when Ukraine-Russia war happened and how NATO countries began to mobilize their resources to support Ukraine indirectly or directly against the Russia. So therefore, in international relations, the balance of power basically have been used, or it aims to prevent the total hegemony of one country, right? So balance of power basically been used by state either forming a coalition to dominate others as well as to prevent the hegemony of another country. For instance, look at today in Asian continent, or else take a look into the broader context of Indo-Pacific. You have China, which is rising power. China have a lot of claims in South China Sea. They have claim over the region in East China Sea. They are also claiming certain territories in Himalayan ranges as far as with India is concerned, right? So there are claims and counterclaims. Now, if you see last 20 years, the way China is accumulating its power, whether it's economy, whether it's military modernization, or in the sectors like technology, right? So everywhere the signals are very clear that China is aspiring to be a great power, and rising power or hegemonic power of a China today has become the problem and issue to other neighboring countries like India, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, obviously, right? So, how would these countries balance China or the power of China? So, individually, these countries are not in a position to balance China alone. So, therefore, what they do, they got into alliances. For instance, Quad is a classic example. The fundamental idea behind why Quad was formed was only to contain the power of China, the rising power of China. So, therefore, Japan, Australia, United States of America, and India, they came in alliance basically to share their resources, share their intelligence, and share their tactics, probably, or maybe strategy, in order to contain the rise of China. Now, it will be too early to say whether they have achieved those objectives or not, but in the long run, uh, it will going to be a very important alliance, which definitely will prevent the hegemony of China. So, therefore, balance of power also therefore talks about maintaining the stability and peace in international system. So, in short, the concept of balanced power therefore is a central theory in international relations, which often talks about preventing hegemony and balancing the great power and bringing some sort of a stability and peace in international system. Now let us see important features, and these features will help us to understand the concept of balance of power. So first we have is power distribution. So as I was talking about, the balance of power involves a relatively even distribution of military and economic capabilities among the major states or alliances. This distribution prevents any one state from becoming overwhelmingly powerful. So what does this power distribution says? The power distribution in the balance of power says that in balance of power, you tend to distribute your military and economic capability among the major state, or if you are in alliances. So you are trying to distribute your military power and economic power in such a way that you are trying to prevent any one state becoming very powerful. Example, let me give you a Quad as a central example of understanding balance of power. Now, as we all know that China is growing power, and if not today then tomorrow, China will definitely going to be a big powerhouse, challenging United States of America, challenging probably even liberal world order and the democracies around the world. So therefore, if China becomes too powerful, then the small countries or regional players will not be in a position to protect its own interest. So therefore, the Quad alliance is trying their best to prevent China becoming very powerful, right? So therefore, the Quad countries are now sharing their military capabilities, technology, strategy, as well as they're helping each other economically to build their capacity in order to stop or in order to prevent the rise of China or China becoming a hegemon power. पावर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक ऐसी इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है या फिर एक फीचर है बैलेंस ऑफ पावर में कि हर एक जो देश है या फिर जो अलायंस में है वो हमेशा कोशिश करेगा कि पावर जो मिलिट्री पावर है वो एक दूसरे के साथ डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करे, ताकि जो एक पावरफुल देश बढ़ रहा है उसको हम किसी हद तक रोक सकते हैं. जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल दिया क्वाड का. अभी क्वाड जो अलायंस बना है वो इसीलिए बना है क्योंकि चाइना बहुत एग्रेसिवली पावरफुल बनता जा रहा है. अगर फ्यूचर में चाइना बहुत पावरफुल बनता है तो जो बाकी देशों के जो इंटरेस्ट है इंडो पैसिफिक में, वो लोग अपने बलबूते के ऊपर वो इंटरेस्ट को प्रोटेक्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे. और इसीलिए क्वाड अलायंस बना है ताकि जो चारों देश है वो अपने अपनी मिलिट्री को मजबूत बनाने में लगे हैं, अपनी अपनी इकोनॉमी को भी मजबूत बनाने को लगे, ताकि वो एक ग्रुप बन के चाइना को बैलेंस कर सके और उसका जो पावर बढ़ रहा है उसको किस हद तक रोक सके, और इसीलिए पावर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट among the major states or alliances. Second very important point is alliances and counterbalances. Now, state form alliances and counter alliances to prevent any single state or coalition from gaining dominance. These alliances are often fluid, shifting in response to changes in the power landscape. So, we again have seen in the international relations that there are a lot of alliances which are being formed as well as counterbalance alliances. What does it mean? It means that whenever you want to prevent any single state or a coalition form from gaining a dominance, then you always form a counter alliance against that. For example, when the North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formed as an alliance to dominate the Europe and to prevent the growing power of USSR, immediately USSR, Russia came forward and formed something called Warsaw Pact Treaty Organization to counter the influence of NATO. So we have this situation in international relations where every country, every organization always wants to get into alliance in order to counter another group of alliance, and this is how therefore the balance of power has been maintained by many countries coming together under one alliances. And these alliances are very fluid, they always shift in response to the changing power landscape. It is not something which is very constant. It is all depends on how the power landscape are being designed or have influenced in the international politics or international relations. दूसरा जो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, फीचर है जो बैलेंस ऑफ पावर का, वो है अलायंसेस एंड काउंटर बैलेंसेस का. हमेशा हमने देखा है कि इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में बहुत से स्टेट एक अलायंसेस बनाते हैं. कभी कभी अलायंसेस और किसी अलायंसेस को काउंटर करने के लिए भी बनाए जाते हैं. और ये जो गेम है अलायंसेस वर्सेस काउंटर बैलेंस अलायंसेस, ये चलता रहता है. ये हमने आफ्टर सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में भी देखा है. जब नेटो बना उसको काउंटर करने के लिए यूएसएसआर ने अपना WPTO बनाया, वार्सा पैक्ट ट्रीटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, राइट. एंड दिस इज़ अ वेरी कॉमन प्रॉब्लम और कॉमन फिनोमिना विच यू विल सी इन इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन एट रीजनल लेवल और समटाइम एट ग्लोबल लेवल. वो और ये जो अलायंस होती है ये बहुत डायनामिक की नेचर की होती है, क्योंकि ये चेंज होता रहता है. जैसे कि इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में कोई बिग डायनामिकल चेंज होता है, उसके हिसाब से जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं वो भी इवॉल्व करता रहता है. सो अलायंस और काउंटर बैलेंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर of understanding the balance of power. Third point is deterrence. Obviously, the balance of power act as a deterrent to aggression. If a state knows that its attempts to dominate will be met with the countervailing coalition, it is less likely to pursue aggressive policies. So what does it mean? It means basically that every country want to make sure that they have a balance of power as a deterrent to aggression, basically to show other state that see we have enough capabilities of military power, technological power or economic power, so we will put or we will use this as a deterrence against another coalition or another state, giving them a clear sign that if you attempt to conduct any aggression against us or have any aggression policies against us, then you will be met or you will be met with a countervailing coalition of the forces. And this is normally the nature of how balance of power we have seen during the Cold War, right? At the one side you have NATO, on the other side you have Warsaw Pact Treaty Organization, showing their deterrence in every region and in every battlefield altogether, and that deterrence eventually prevent any sort of a major aggression against each other, because you are deterring, you are showing your power to your enemy or your counterpart that see we have the ability to hit you if you cross certain limit. And therefore deterrence also is a very important tactic of balance of power in which you prevent or in which you give a clear signal to your neighbor or your enemy state that if you do this, we will use our powers effectively to crush you on the other side. तीसरा जो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है ये है डिटरेंस का. जो बैलेंस ऑफ पावर जो होता है उसका एक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर होता है डिटरेंस. आप हमेशा अपनी जो ताकत है उसको बनाए रखते हैं एक हद तक, और ये ताकत आपकी विजिबल होनी चाहिए आपके एग्रेसर को, ताकि आपका जो एग्रेसर है दूसरा कोई देश, उसको ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि आपके पास पूरी ताकत है. अगर वो कोई लिमिट क्रॉस करेगा तो हानि उसकी होगी, destruction he will have to face. So therefore, in balance of power in international relations, deterrence also act very positively, denying the other country to take any stupid actions against you, and therefore it is less likely to pursue aggressive policy against you because you have shown what capabilities you have. Next we have is dynamics and flexible. The balance of power is not static. It requires continuous adjustment as states gain or lose power from new alliances or experience internal changes. So the next very important feature which we should understand of balance of power is that balance of power is very dynamic and flexible. Therefore, the balance of power is not static. It is not permanent. It is very dynamic and it is flexible. And therefore, every nation must understand the dynamic nature of a balance of power. Therefore, sometimes it requires continuous adjustment. And we have often seen in the international relations that often sometimes state gains some extra power, or sometimes states also lose their power. The classic example of this balance of power would be the Cold War. During the entire Cold War, there has been ups and downs, and eventually the fall of USSR was equivalent to Russia losing its power and Russia losing its hold. Similarly, in international relations, whenever state feels that it is losing the power, they always form new alliances, because alliances eventually give them a space to dominate the international relations together under the collective efforts. Sometimes states also have witnessed the internal changes within their countries which eventually impact the larger picture or the larger goal of dominating the international relations, and therefore balance of power is always dynamic and flexible and it is not static. हमें ये भी समझना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जो बैलेंस ऑफ पावर होता है वो कभी परमानेंट नहीं होता है, वो बहुत डायनामिक इन नेचर होता है, वो बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल भी होता है, और इसलिए वो कभी स्टैटिक नहीं हो सकता. इट इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज परमानेंट एट प्लेस. हमें ये भी देखना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जो स्टेट है, जब भी स्टेट कुछ पावर गेन करती है तो उसका डोमिनेंस बढ़ जाता है, और जब जब स्टेट का पावर लॉस हो चुका है बिकॉज ऑफ वेरियस फैक्टर, स्टेट हैज़ एंटर्ड इनटू सम टाइम इन वेरियस अलायंसेस. पूरा जो कोल्ड वॉर है बिटवीन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका एंड Russia was all about that. It was very flexible, it was very dynamic, and they often entered into some sort of alliances. हर एक देश आज के तारीख में इसीलिए जब भी बैलेंस ऑफ पावर की बात करता है तो वो अलायंस फॉर्म करता है ताकि अपना इंटरेस्ट प्रोटेक्ट करे अंडर कलेक्टिव एफर्ट्स. कभी कभी जो इंटरनल डायनामिक्स भी होती है उस देश की, वो भी बहुत इम्पैक्ट करते हैं ग्लोबली, और इसीलिए बैलेंस ऑफ पावर जो होता है वो कभी भी स्टैटिक नहीं रह सकता है, वो कभी भी परमानेंट नहीं हो सकता है, वो हमेशा एक डायनामिक और फ्लेक्सिबल होता रहेगा. नेक्स्ट वी हैव इज इंटरनल बैलेंसिंग. Now, state increases their own military and economic capabilities to counter potential threats. This can involve enhancing defense spending, developing new technologies, and boosting economic resilience. So another very important aspects of understanding balance of power is how does state increases its potential, increases its power. And this is largely been done under the understanding of internal balancing. Every country has to balance their own internal politics, internal feeling about being a great power, and therefore they always increase their military, economic capability and spending in order to counter any potential threat. And that is very obvious that in international relations, a nation cannot always depend on other country. How far friendly you may be, or how far you may have a fantastic defense or a strategic partnership, but end of the day, you have to increase your own military and economic capability in order to counter that potential threat, right? And this can be involved in enhancing how? By spending more in defense, developing new technologies, and boosting your economic resilience. So if you want to balance another country, or if you want to balance your interest against another country, then you must have that capability. And this is all about how you develop your potential. This is how you do by spending more in defense sector, developing new technologies in order to make you more self-reliant, and that eventually will boost your economy as well. So therefore, internal balancing is also very important before you begin to balance another country in the international relations. So you have to build your potential, and we have seen that many great powers have focused more on spending on defense, developing new technologies, and boosting their economy in order to help themselves to balance their power in international relations. इंटरनल बैलेंसिंग बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि अगर आपको सही मायने में एक बड़ी पावर बननी है और इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में किसी और देश को बैलेंस करना है अगेंस्ट योर ओन फोर्स एंड अगेंस्ट योर एनिमीज़, देन आपका जो स्पेंडिंग है टेक्नोलॉजी में, आपका जो स्पेंडिंग है इकोनॉमी में, या फिर इकोनॉमी को ज़बरदस्त बूस्ट दिलाना, वो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. और इसीलिए डिफेंस स्पेंडिंग भी बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. आपकी ओवरऑल जो मिलिट्री और इकोनॉमिक कैपेसिटी है उसको बढ़ाना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है टू काउंटर योर पोटेंशियल थ्रेट. और तभी आप जाके जो आपके थ्रेट्स हैं उसको आप काउंटर कर सकते हैं और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट ताकत या फिर एक ताकतवर देश बनकर खड़े रह सकते हैं इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में या फिर इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में. और इसलिए इंटरनल बैलेंसिंग भी बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. Next we have is external balancing. So similarly, the way you balance your internal growth between economy and military, similarly state forms alliances and partnership with other state to balance against a common threat. This often involves military alliances such as NATO or strategic partnership. So on one hand you are balancing your internal capability, at the same time you also need to balance your external threats, the threats which are coming from some enemy states or sometimes threats which comes from a non-state actors. So therefore here state always forms an alliance with the partners. Example, there are 2-3 countries who have a common interest, who have a common threat. So these countries will come together, they will form the alliances, and then they will try to protect their interests, right? And the best example is often we see a military alliance, example NATO, or for that matter you enter into a strategic partnership with another country and you work together in various fields, military, technology, economy, improve your relationship and build a strong alliance, so that if you have a common threat coming up, then both of you or collectively as an organization you can take it against that problem or face that common threat together. And therefore external balancing is another very important feature of how you use balance of power to protect your interest. जैसे हमने देखा कि इंटरनल बैलेंसिंग भी जो इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि आपकी जो कैपेबिलिटी है उसको आपको बढ़ाना है ताकि आप किसी भी पोटेंशियल थ्रेट को फेस कर सके. उसके साथ साथ कभी कभी स्टेट एक अलायंस में भी जाता है अपने पार्टनर्स के साथ. जब भी आपको पता है कि आपका कोई कॉमन थ्रेट है, तो इट इज़ ऑलवेज़ गुड कि आप एक साथ आ जाइए, अपना इंटेलिजेंस शेयर करो, अपनी एक स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप बनाओ, अपनी जो मिलिट्री है, इकोनॉमी है, टेक्नोलॉजी में, उसमें आप इन्वेस्ट करो, ताकि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रांग बने। जैसे कि एग्जांपल है हमारा नेटो में भी ऐसा ही सिचुएशन है कि जब भी किसी एक देश के ऊपर प्रॉब्लम आता है, तो सारे नेटो के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो एक साथ आकर उस प्रॉब्लम को फेस करते हैं, और इस तरीके से आप अपना एक डिटरेंस भी मेंटेन करते हो इन इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस, एंड दैट ऑलवेज फेवर्स you as far as balance of power is concerned. And the last very important point of reference here of feature of balance of power is bandwagoning. Now, what is bandwagoning? So instead of balancing against a strong power, some state may choose to along with it, seeking protection or a benefit. This is the opposite of balancing, but is also a strategic response to power dynamics. So bandwagoning is exactly opposite of balance of power, right? In balance of power, what we do, we try to come together against that common threat and balance that threat in international relations. Whereas in bandwagoning, you are not going against that threat or threatening state. Rather, what you do, you join that state. You choose to go along with it rather than against it. Why? Because you are getting assurance that you will be protected by that state, and you will get some benefits, right? And the best example here is the relationship between China and North Korea, right? So North Korea is literally a vassal state of China, because China is giving North Korea the protection what is required. So therefore, this is the opposite of balancing, but also a strategic response to power dynamics in the larger picture of international relations and balance of power. So this is all about the concept of balance of power and the important features of balance of power. I hope you have understood this concept and the feature. I will see you soon in next tutorial. Till then, take care.